go. Got it. So now we should be in the right place. Hello, Cheryl. Hang on one second. Let me just make sure we're in the right place. And hopefully we don't have two going now. There we go. By the Shore Stamping is live now. All right, perfect. I think we did it.
Yay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm live on my personal page too now. I don't know, but whatever. We'll figure it out. It's working, so we're gonna leave it.
Yeah, don't touch anything.
Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. I wanted to come live today with my friend Cheryl, who lives in Maui. Cheryl and I have actually known each other for quite some time. We actually, funnily enough, I don't know if you remember this, but because Nate and I were married in Maui in 2021, which of course you knew, but in 2019, actually, before COVID, we were at the incentive trip. I think it was Greece. Yeah, it was Greece. We were on the boat in Greece, and we were at the general session where they were announcing where our next trip was from. And I'm sitting next to Cheryl.
And you sat by me, yeah.
And so, like, it comes out that we're going to Maui, and I'm like, excited, and Cheryl's like, oh, and I'm like, what's the matter? And you're like, I live there.
I know. I was like, okay.
That's really exciting, but it was so funny to be sitting right next to you, and you actually lived in Maui. So then, of course, we went to Maui in 2021, and it was beautiful. Nate and I had an amazing wedding there, and we spent some time in Lahaina, and loved it actually, and couldn't wait to go back so we could go back and visit it a little bit more. We just had a really short trip there, like a couple of hours, so it wasn't anywhere near enough time. And then, of course, flash forward to last month in August, and Maui had all of those fires, and so we were devastated watching all of that, as I'm sure everybody else was too. But it's just kind of a hit home, since it was kind of like a special place for both of us. So tell me a little bit. I mean, did you grow up in Maui? Have you lived there all your life?
No, but I've been on Oahu. Grew up on Oahu, so
okay.
Since I was 13. So it was a really weird time to move to Hawaii, where it's such a different culture. But then ended up, going to high school and college there. I went to nursing school, and then I moved to Colorado because I wanted to see snow. That was my big thing. And they had a big children's hospital there. So that was what I wanted. And I was a pediatric nurse. So I met my husband, dragged him back to Hawaii, which it wasn't hard to persuade him for that. And so he set up practice in Maui. And I thought it was going to be I didn't have kids then. I'm like, oh, it's so boring in Maui. What am I going to do, but it's perfect. What a great place. Yeah, I love it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So you've been there for quite some time now then.
Yeah, like, I don't know, 35 or 40 years or something on Maui, yeah.
And how far are you from where the fires were from last month?
See, I don't know how many miles it is, but it takes like 45 minutes to get to Lahaina. I'm over by I'm more on the road to Hana when you pass Mama's Fish House and Ho'okipa. Yeah. So, and I'm kind of in that area.
Okay. Yeah. So I wasn't sure how close you were, but we're from New England, and so we talk in like distance in minutes as well. So we'll
Oh, okay, good. Because I have to
really know either. I'm like, I don't know, is that 30 miles, 100 miles? I don't know, but it takes about 45 minutes. That works.
That works. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about what life is like out there now in the aftermath of the fires. I mean, obviously you're probably a little bit distanced from the actual fire locations, but I'm sure you're kind of the news and things like that spreading about how they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not right there with the fire, but even though I'm not in that area, I think it's a small island, and people know everybody, or lots and lots of people. And if you don't know one person, you definitely know lots of people through that. Anyway, what it's like over here is, I would just say it's really sad. People are really hurting. They're looking so much for information. There's just all kinds of responses, and from people. The ones that are the loudest, if you go on Facebook or something, I think the loudest ones are the angry ones. And that's hard to, I mean, for me, it's hard because I can't dwell on that, you know. I mean, you can't just go there and look and read all that stuff and go, yeah, they really messed up, you know. So that's hard, but there's a lot of anger. I talk with my friend Kyle. I'll talk a little more about him now, but this is Kyle. Should I just go into that? I don't know.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what, you know, I want to do things because immediately I was like, oh, I have to do something. And there was so much to do right at the beginning. I mean, I volunteered with the Red Cross. I was at shelters and people were all flooding in and didn't have anything. So we're, you know, me and my neighbors were going through getting towels and blankets and pillows and just stuff like that. One of them went to the Humane Society. There was just so much to do and people were chipping in all over the place. And at the shelters, I was meeting people and there wasn't a lot to do, honestly. They except for kind of listen to some people, you know, like some didn't really want to talk about it and others wanted to tell their story and how they fled the fire and all that kind of stuff. So I have friends in Lahaina, but not a lot because I kind of live on a different side. And but I have this really cool greenhouse on my property, like huge. And when we bought the place and remodeled about 10 years ago, Kyle and his friend were here every day for the remodel, and I was helping them to keep the cost down. I was painting and stuff. They were teaching me how to use these painter gun things, and so I was out there with them. And so I got to know, especially Kyle, and love him. He's just a genuine, nice guy. And he got married to Sarah, and who was one of the painters. She was helping me too. And sorry, I'm sidetracked. So here, so but anyway, Kyle, it ends up he called me like 8 or 9 months ago, and he talks to me about once a year. You know, we'll just touch base because we are friends. But he called and he goes, Cheryl, you know, do you have any plans? What are you doing with your greenhouse? And I had been messing around. I had a little bit of a we call it aquaponics instead of hydroponics. When you add fish to the mix, that's like aquarium. It's called aquaponics. So
Okay.
I would go fishing and, you know, and get some fish, throw them in there, and had this system going, and the fish were fertilizing my food. And I was just planning a few different things to kind of a experiment and really fun just to see what happened. And but it was kind of a mess and I couldn't keep up with it. Well, Kyle came in there and he's like, because I have it's big. And so he said, can my restaurant, which is Honu Oceanside, which is a super nice restaurant on the front street in Lahaina, like right on the ocean. Okay. And so he was part owner in there, and he goes, can we use your greenhouse for farm to table? And I'm like, yeah, that would be so neat. Yeah. And so anyway, they've been working on the greenhouse. It hasn't really gotten things growing, but they were working on everything, almost ready to plant. And then the fire happened. So that's how I know Kyle. The fire happened. He lives in Oluwalu, which is the first little dinky town it's not even a town. I don't know. It's so little. You drive past this Leota's pie shop is what I would say is the best thing there. And you drive past that and then you're in Lahaina. So he lives there, and he was, helping to rescue people, worried about his employees. He had 64 employees, and when I talked to him afterwards, he said that they were all accounted for. And that was the first thing, because they couldn't find people. There was no communication, like no electricity, no water, no communication for like at least 3 weeks, and some of them were longer than that. It was unbelievable.
That
Really.
island wide, or was that just in the
No,
area?
in that area there.
Fires.
So like two of my stampers are over there, and I'm like, I know they're okay, I hope, but I couldn't get them. And then one day I got some spotty little text from Linda, and I was so relieved. But then it took it took longer. We couldn't call. And then finally it was like days and days after that, she got on Facebook and told everybody she was okay. Anyway, so Kyle, he did have more than half of them lost their homes. So it's about 30, I don't remember how many, 36 to 38 homes were lost of his employees. But at least, they were found and stuff. Some of them have burns. Julius is the line cook. And Kyle just went on and on about him because these are his family, kind of. He loves them. And so he said Julius he stayed there saving as many people as he could, because there's older people around, and just getting people out of the house. It was so fast, you guys. It was crazy. I mean, because the wind, even where I live, it was sort of like when we have a hurricane or something. It was just it was like I didn't want to go outside and I'd see branches coming down and all this junk. No way was I going to drive that day. But this is and I was focused on the upcountry fire because that's where I am, and I wasn't worried about my house as much as other friends I had up country, and it destroyed a lot of houses up in Kula. And so I was and Lahaina, I'm like, oh yeah, they have a fire there, but they always have fires in Lahaina, I'm like, they'll be fine. And so I didn't really think about it that much until the next morning when one of my greenhouse guys came over and he just stopped by and he goes, Cheryl, do you know what happened? And I go, I don't know. What are you talking about? The fires? And he goes, Lahaina is gone. And I'm like, I don't even know how to process that. I'm like, what does that mean? And but basically it means the whole town below the bypass, between the ocean and the bypass, was burned. It's so devastating and terrible. So but anyway, so Kyle is my good friend. We're the gift card part of this fundraiser I'm trying to do. It's not real formal, you guys. It's the best I could do, and I'm getting gift cards sent to me that and I asked for them to be Walmart or Target or Safeway, because these are stores that they can buy produce and they're right here. But people are sending gift cards. Inside a card is kind of nice because we're card people, I think you guys can send a little card and just say, hey, we're, just encourage them, that we love your island, we're praying for you, or just wanted to, know you, that we're thinking of you, that kind of thing. And here's a little something, so I think that would mean a lot. And Kyle's gonna, yesterday he came over and I didn't quite have them together. So he's coming over next week, and I'm gonna hand him some more gift cards. And he said he's just giving them out as he sees them. Oh, but anyway, back to the line cook, Julius. Yeah, so he rescued all these people. Kyle was just like in tears telling me about him because he's such a hero. Rescued all these people and then just had to run and get in the water. He was in the water 7 hours, and I don't know. I can't imagine. You're in the water and these, ashes and things are just all around you. And you're right there. You're watching this huge fire burn the whole town. It's so surreal. But he had pretty bad burns on his face and his extremities. So he was hospitalized. Then he went to a rehab center here on Maui and is still there with dressing changes and stuff. But Kyle told me yesterday he's doing a lot better. And I don't know. That's amazing.
What, I can't imagine how it must have felt like apocalyptic to be like.
No, it does. It's like a movie you would see, one of those awful movies, you know? And I mean, yeah, and I'd see smoke, but the smoke I was seeing was up country. So you know, mine is so secondhand, but
Yeah.
but I can certainly kind of see. And one other thing that's just, I don't know how to process this or explain it, but even yesterday, Kyle was like, people are, it's not just sad, but they're so sensitive and hurting. They're so broken right now. And
Well, it's a
you know,
grief process, right? Like they're gonna go through
yeah,
like the anger, the sadness, the denial,
right,
like all of those
denial and all that
stages.
stuff. Yeah, no, I don't even know. But especially it's hard, I think, with people going into Lahaina. I haven't been there yet. And but people going in there taking pictures and all this stuff, people get really angry because it's, to them,
Yeah,
it's real, it's
yeah,
a sacred ground, and there's still
processing. And
yeah, and they haven't gone through all this stuff. It's just you
so you
know,
mean when you say that, like there's people like tourists and stuff going in there to
yeah,
take pictures? Oh.
yeah. So Kyle was like, they're so angry, and he saw some other guy. I don't I don't know. He just said it made him kind of happy because he saw this big Hawaiian guy like crossing the traffic with this tourist taking all these pictures of the burnt structures, and then he just slammed the phone out of his hand. And I don't know, you know, I mean, I didn't think of that stuff really until I hear the story from Kyle, and I'm like, oh,
That's
that
their
would be,
home, that's
yeah,
kind of, inconsiderate for sure.
yeah,
That's
I
all.
guess so. Yeah. So
I was actually under the impression that they weren't really letting anybody over there because it was kind of toxic too, isn't it? Like, isn't
very
like,
toxic. Yeah. So there's
not allowing
um
like the families or anybody to go over there, were they, for a
yeah,
while? Because it was just
no, they
so.
still kind of are. So I don't know where these tourists, you know, people
They could
sometimes
be days
get
and
in somehow,
yeah,
but apparently, like they're letting people in now, and they're
yeah,
doing it in increments, and you can go in you know, with a couple of volunteers. You have to wear the hazmat suit and that big mask or something, because I think it's really toxic. I'm not sure if I was thinking at first asbestos, but they're like, no, burn houses and stuff are very bad for your lungs. They have chemicals in them and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's from plastics or
I mean, you
what.
think of all the things we have in our houses, right? So who knows? I mean,
Yeah,
there could be, paints and,
paints,
cleaning
right. So
products,
I think
all
it's
that
really,
stuff.
I think
Yeah.
it's very toxic for you. And they have to just clean, but they're allowing people to go in, and they're probably sifting through to see
Yeah.
if they can find anything, and then eventually they'll, I don't know what they do, bulldoze it and clean the stuff out. And they said they're going to ship it off, but my question is, where are they putting it? You know,
Right. No, you're
where
on
do
an
you keep,
island, right? Where are they going to bring it?
no, they do sometimes take trash off the island
Mm,
to
yeah. It's
somebody
gonna
they
be
pay a
hard
bunch of
though.
money to, but
Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully it's not any place near you. And hopefully it's not the ocean. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
they'll take
I'm
it, trade
sure
it
they have a
off.
way to get rid of
Yeah,
it, or reuse it or
probably.
something. I don't know, but that's quite the task, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, if you're joining us live now, just a little recap. I'm talking with Cheryl from Maui, and her and I have been friends for quite some time and actually partnered together to do cards for Maui. So, we're sending cards from Cape Cod and beyond, from the East Coast over here. Couldn't be further away from Cheryl at the moment. We're 6 hours apart. But we're collecting cards of encouragement, thinking of you, any of that kind of stuff for my stampers, my card makers. We're going to send a little bit of love and happiness, joy, little random acts of kindness over here to send to our Maui friends. And if you are able to, you can of course include a gift card with that to Target or Safeway. I don't know if we have Safeways here, but Target, Walmart.
Oh, Walmart is a good one.
Yeah, so we do have those. So that would be most useful for them. And if you want to participate, you can go ahead and message me and I can send you my mailing address. And so I'm collecting stuff here until the 8th of October. So until next Sunday, because because I'll be away next week. So when I get back, I will go ahead and package all the stuff we get, and we will send it over to Cheryl so she can get it to, as she was talking about earlier, Kyle, who is one of the ones that's helping to kind of get some supplies and money and donations and things to a lot of his workers who actually were lost their homes in the fire. So there's that aspect of it. And I think you're doing a fundraiser out there too, like a little event. Is that true?
Yeah.
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 Taking on all the things, right? You're doing all the stuff.
Yeah, I do this, and then I'm like, oh, but it's going to come together. It's finally really is.
When you're trying to do something to help others, and then like it's
kind of cool because
right?
There's a lot of Stampin' Up people that are like, we want to help, and so I wanted to kind of figure out what can they do instead of just being, that's really nice,
Yeah.
Stampin' Up was awesome. They sent me for free like 200 kits.
Oh my gosh.
You believe that? So I've got
amazing.
I mean, I've got piles of these things. I'm trying to be very organized, but this is part of a fundraiser event we're having on November 18th, and the proceeds for this are going to go to a couple of demos from demonstrators from Lahaina who lost their homes. So we want to just help them there. And this is going to be a kit sale and gift baskets that they'll raffle off or whatever. And then they'll make a little, I'm using the tropical leaf set to make, I'm like, I better get those.
My card, I'm using that one.
Oh, yay. So that's because that's Pam, her name's Pam, the one I've been in contact mostly, and she's like, that's one of her favorite bundles ever, so I'll make sure she gets one of those. Just to help them, her she lives with her she did live next. They had 3 houses on the lot that were destroyed, their daughter and husband and grandkids, and then her mother-in-law who she takes care of, and then she's with her husband. So she's been able to find a place with a relative in Kahana, which is even further than Lahaina. So she's living with her mother-in-law husband there, but the daughter and grandkids are in Wailuku. So there's still, I think that's that's one of the huge things that's so sad now, is people are really leaving the island because how do you afford it? It's so expensive here, and the rental market has been very expensive, and it's you're on an island, it's this big, and so there's only so many houses, and it's a big problem. And I know the government is helping, they're helping. There's a lot of things out there. People are giving money, the government is helping, but I think it only stretches so far. A lot of people are in hotels right now, but they're going to have to move again in a couple of months to someplace. So I don't know. I just know it's difficult to like Pam, the demonstrator, she said she's just trying, she's got to be strong for her family because she's sort of the older one and everybody looks up to her, and so she's trying to stay so positive and everything. I can't imagine.
I know, and I feel like sometimes, like when things like this happen, like it was all over the news everywhere, right, in the beginning, and then all of a sudden people just kind of go back to their lives and they forget about everything. But all of these people are still dealing with this on a day-to-day basis, and it's a new problem, a new trouble every day. So I'm a little bit late in getting our request for all of these cards and stuff in the mail, but I kind of am happy a little bit, just because that's going to extend that time when those people know that we're all still thinking about them.
You're not late at all. I think what you said is very important, that and it's going to happen. You'll see it, because I think it's supposed to take 2 years before they even start rebuilding. It's crazy. Stuff takes forever.
What are we supposed to do for 2 years?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the plan is. I haven't been to one of those town hall meetings yet, but but it's hard. And but anyway, I think it's great that you didn't do it the first month, because they got a lot of love and supplies, tons of stuff being donated, and now things are dwindling a little bit. So yay, they'll get some nice notes and gift cards, and they're going to need and
A
people.
little bit encouragement as they're going through this process. It probably wouldn't
so
be easy to do this again next year, right? So
yeah,
that they can, at least the cards, just to kind of keep their spirits up, because I think that's sometimes half the battle, right? When you get frustrated, then things fall apart. So
yeah, and I'll probably do it depends on if I have kids left or not, but I've had some places ask me to do like a fun event where kids can be involved, and we can because they all this junk has happened. We don't live at home anymore. We live in some other place, and so do some things like that. So I'll probably do something at least in December, something for Christmas. And then
definitely keep me in the loop, because we didn't really do a kit component of our little partnership this time around. So maybe next time around we could do something like that and do some kit donation. That would be fun.
That's pretty neat. You guys are so generous. It's neat you can do that from such a distance.
I love my stampers. They're just always so supportive, and it's just such a great community of people, crafters in general. So and we've been doing crops and events together for years, so they're all like family. And I think isn't that family and Hawaiian?
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like that's what crafters are too. So I feel like it's the same kind of dynamic as the island. And I'm super happy that we can do. I don't know how much we'll get or what we'll get, but whatever we can do and whatever I can do, I'm super happy to support you and whatever efforts I trust you 100%. So I know they'll go to people that need it and things that are important to the community to rebuild. So super great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys are great. And
so it'll be good. Like I said, we're heading out for a week. So kind of in and out, actually. We've got a couple of things to do, but then I'll be back next weekend, and I'll package everything up and ship it all out to you. And
I'm excited.
Hopefully we'll have a lot of, I think actually there were some people too that had asked me about sending whether they needed thank you cards. And I told them to go ahead and send those too. I'm like, I'm sure they're getting like things from community and stuff, and they could use the thank you cards as well. So I'm like, whatever you want to send.
And I'm getting a lot, and I'm just trying to figure out what to do with it. Like somebody Pam, the person whose house burned down, she's like, I could use like 20 thank you cards. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get them. And then later somebody's like, that's the last thing she should be doing is writing thank you. Her house burned down, but she said
you still want to be appreciative, right?
Yeah, and she did have like a few really, big things that were done for her. She was displaced, people housed her and did different things at the, so she wants to do that. But I got another batch yesterday, and I'm like, I'm going to put these in one of the package it really pretty and put it in one of the raffle baskets. So I can use things however
you use them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll send all the things, and hopefully we'll be a little bright spot in the darkness that they're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, that's really generous. That's great.
Well, I appreciate you and all of the effort you're doing to help all of them and keep involved and volunteering and all of that stuff. So keep us posted, and I will let you know when I ship this out, and we'll have to touch base again when we can maybe collaborate for some kits for the holidays. That would be fun too. So
that'd be great. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks everyone so much, and aloha.
Aloha. Thanks, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
Bye. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.